Why do you like questions so much? This question is, why do I like questions so much? And so like one of the basically like I normally think of myself as kind of like an asteroid floating in space, and I don't have like the power to just like do things on my own. Like for every 100 thoughts I have, I'll have maybe one little inkling of personal motivation where I can actually, like accomplish something. One of the things that's always been true about me is like I've always been very thoughtful. And so I've accumulated like this large database of just thoughts that are kind of just there. So it seemed to me like if I just solicit questions from other people, then I can make some kind of use of my thoughts. Because like personally I haven't actually turned my thoughts into a whole lot of usefulness just of my own accord. I feel like questions give me kind of like an anchor to society, to the world, so I can be part of something. Even if it's just questions that other people happen to have on their mind. There's a personality type system called the Enneagram, in which I would be a type 5, which would be like the observer / the investigator. And that type is, accumulates lots of knowledge, but one of their issues is like they're worried about being useful. I'm always in my own world, and to like be asked a question is like a clear sign of how to interact with the outside world. At first, when so far when I was answering questions, I made a rule. It has to be somebody else's question. I was like gonna stick to the rule. But like last week, with the number 2 pencils question, I basically I had a different question that I wanted to answer. So I basically gave what I would call a cow manure answer to the number 2 pencils question, and then answered the question that was on my mind, something about the destruction of the world. I think the idea of always answering someone else's question was like, maybe it was kind of a discipline. It's kind of like a bondage and discipline, like you got to stick to the formula. That might mark a turning point where I actually start having a say in my own questions. Like things that I want to talk about. Anyway, so I'm thinking of setting up this like feedback loop where I give my friend my questions, and he tactfully feeds them back to me so that I get to answer some of my own questions sometimes too. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.